My name is Cecilia Erlin, and I'm a professor of psychology at the University of Mary Hardin-Baylor.
Hello, I'm Andreas Peralta. I'm a freshman here.
Hi, my name is Kalina Brenchley. I am a junior sociology major.
Hi everyone, my name is Scarlett Gardner. I am the International Psychology Honor Society President.
My name is Nisha Hickman. I'm the Director of Organizations for SGA.
My name is Ernie. I'm a freshman here at Umhb.
Hi, my name is Olin Vine III.
Hello, my name is William Williams.
Hi, my name is Emma Waite.
Hello, my name is Rachel Ball.
My name is Lauren Cheshire.
Hello, my name is Cassie Velasquez. I am a junior social work major here at our wonderful UMHB, and I'm here with the Psych Club to talk about mental health awareness. And I'm really thankful to have this opportunity in order to speak on such a great topic like this that's heavy on my heart. Personally, I have struggled with mental health since I was very young. I grew up in a not so ideal family. So it really has shaped who I am today, and it's a topic that I'm able to have such emotion put into because I too struggle with it, and I have my ups and down days. And I have plenty of people, friends that I talk to and I confide in, and they confide in me because it's something that is so taboo in today's culture that people don't want to talk about it. And that's something that I really love to advocate and talk about, that understanding that it's not necessarily just the one thing. It's so many other things. It's so many good and bad things that there's not going to be good days all the time. There's bad days. There's really good days and bad days. And it's an intermix in between. That understanding that even when I call my little fits or like episodes that I get into, kind of like depression episodes, I call them fits. So when I get into a fit like that, understanding that this isn't forever. This isn't going to last for the rest of my life. That there's so much good in the world and there's so much good in life. That to let this small time span that I feel weird and my head's weird, to not let it jeopardize like my future, jeopardize like stuff I have going on, this and that.
So I think in terms of mental health, we still have a long ways of working towards it becoming less stigmatized, but I feel like people are really comfortable in society today talking about it and sharing it with their friends, and I think friend groups are very vital in order to support each other's mental health, whether that having be a self-care day or just collaborating with each other and just transferring feedback is really praying and meditation helps. I try to do a self-care day once a week on Sundays, whether that just being watching a show or doing a face mask, something just relaxing, something as simple as just going for a walk, getting outside, good for the mind, good for the soul, things like that. So just simple activities I think can really help in terms of mental health. And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It can just be as simple as going outside and spending a few minutes outside.
What mental health means to me is no matter what any person is going through with their thoughts or feelings or emotions or even their own circumstances, that those things are held at a high standard and that each person know that they're loved and valued and appreciated and taken care of and all of those aspects. Not only just with physical needs, but emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, and things like that. Okay, so a mental health day for me is just waking up super early, like before the break of dawn. I wake up at like 4 a.m. And the first thing I'll do is I'll read my Bible and I'll pray. And after that, I'm just throughout the day listening to music and just checking up on myself. And not necessarily talking to myself, but just really analyzing just where I am at with the things that are going on throughout the day, and just what do I feel about them, my emotions towards them, and just things like that.
So, I'm not ashamed to say it. I've been starting to see do the counseling here on campus. I did it freshman year a lot, and that really helped me in freshman year, and then I stopped, and that was not, I think I kind of look back and I'm like, I should not have stopped. So I'm starting to go again, and I'm hoping to learn better coping mechanisms instead of just turning off my brain when I get stressed and tired and just nap or just watch TV, which are not helpful. They're escapisms. And so I know, like for me, like doing art or journaling and writing out what I'm feeling or talking with people that I trust is a really good way for me to talk about what's going on in my head. I often get really wrapped up in everything that's going on, and then oftentimes not a huge deal. They just get so stuck in my head, and then if I go to sleep with them and I don't get enough sleep, then it's kind of, they just keep manifesting and manifesting. And so learning how to my hardest thing is learning to actually like apply what I know works for me. And so I know that journaling and I know that arts and crafts really help me express myself and help me feel better, but I just don't do them. And so my hardest thing is really is making myself do them and knowing that I'll feel so much better afterwards. So I guess, again, a conclusion, so mental health to me is taking care of yourself and knowing how you cope and knowing what triggers you and knowing how to take care of yourself, and also doing that in a way that is helpful and loving to other people and loving to yourself. And so I'm really excited to see what Psychological Science Club does and how they continue moving forward in a way that is healthy, that is promoting well-being on our campus, and I'm really excited to work with them in the future.
Being a music major, I play in a lot of ensembles, and you're constantly either about to play performance, and most people get like really nervous. I don't. And for the simple fact that, I know this sounds weird, but I just don't care, like, to the point where I'm just like sweating and shaking. Like, I just play, and if I mess up, oh well, I mess up. But if I didn't, then yay, I didn't mess up. So the way I deal with nerves is I just don't think about it and just be happy.
So I came from a small Christian school, graduated in a class of 27, so that'll definitely give you some perspective there, but I loved it. I definitely had the teachers there that would pour into me. I loved the small community. It was definitely something that I wanted to kind of replicate as much as I could here, and this was definitely the aspect that I was looking for, where like if you wanted to get involved, you could be involved, but you wouldn't have to feel like you were I wouldn't have to fade into the background or like be a number, but you know, if you wanted to do your own thing, you could still do that too. But having to transition, unfortunately, there were some things with my high school that was just because the budget wasn't always there because of how small it was, and being private, it didn't always get the funds it needed, and so there were some things that they didn't have that other people had, and like that was one thing, was we didn't have counselors when I was in high school. Like, we were talking about this in one of my professions classes, and I was like, oh my gosh, like all the public schools are supposed to have a school psychologist, and we didn't, and now it's really nice having people to go to about that, and that are like licensed, that can't talk about it, or but having to adjust to obviously the level of independence you have has been great. It's been great being able to kind of make my own schedule, and rather than having like every class every day, or if I want to stay home and Zoom into a class, it's nice, or being with different people on different days rather than like I was around the same people a lot. But it's definitely been better. I definitely can say that my high school prepared me quite a bit for just kind of what the college life would look like, academically speaking. Like I said, I took a lot of dual credit classes, and so the class is kind of transferred over, and just trying to discipline. But obviously I had to definitely get a lot better with discipline and kind of make my own schedule, because I don't have my parents here being like, go to bed, or I don't have my school telling me this or that, and so it's definitely that level of independence has definitely made me be a little bit more disciplined, but I'm definitely glad that I went the route that I did, and I'm glad that they helped me have a firm foundation in my faith so that I can come here and kind of pour into others in that way.
Well, mental health, like for me, like I break it up into two words. Mental, which is like relate to your psyche, and health is like more of your well-being. So kind of like the well-being of one's psychological health. It's kind of stressful. It's kind of stressful because like just think about like last year, like about when COVID hit, then like the professors start to like assign multiple assignments on every week to like, so then I was working under pressure, it started becoming stressful, then kind of vented out on Facebook saying, oh, I don't like this, like I'm feeling stressed out. But then like also like you need to like take a breath and just take a deep breath in, deep breath out. And like when I feel under pressure, like because I don't want to work under pressure, because I want to produce my best work. So like when I'm under pressure, I just take a break, sing some hymns, sing some Christian music, call on the Lord, and I just call some people and just talk.
So there is that.
Honestly, I kind of think of it in terms of the word. mental and health. So mental, dealing with your mind, with how you deal with things throughout the day, and health kind of being the fact that you can deal with things in a right way and a wrong way, in a healthy way and unhealthy way. So, for example, let's say we have, like, there's a homework or something that you have to do, assignment or quiz. You can deal it within a healthy way, which is to study beforehand and just prepare yourself. Or not necessarily. The healthy way is to do it like 30 minutes before it's due, stress over it and cram, and potentially get something wrong or miss something that you wouldn't have before. And so I think those are the two sides of the coin for mental health, that we can deal things in the right way and ultimately a godly way, but sometimes we don't necessarily do that on the flip side. So in terms of stress, I've had many experiences with it in the past. I don't say I'm the best at dealing under pressure. It honestly depends. If it's something that I enjoy doing and I'm put under stress doing it, then I would say I deal with it a lot better than otherwise. So for example, let's say I personally don't necessarily enjoy English. So let's say I had a paper to do by the end of the week. And if I start putting that off or procrastinating, then I would deal with the stress as well. Then let's say I had something to deal with engineering coding stuff, which I'm really enjoying right now. So I would, even if there is still stress, I would get it done faster because my mind thinks of it as something, oh yes, I like this. And it kind of, you push away all the other things that you may be thinking of and focus on the task at hand. And otherwise you might be thinking, oh, this paper, I really don't want to do this, and think of other things you could be doing, but you can't.
So right now, I am the Director of Spiritual Life for Student Government, and then I'm also the President-elect, I guess is what you would call it, for Student Government. And it's overwhelming sometimes. It really honestly is. But currently, as Director of Spiritual Life, I spend a lot of time in prayer just for the students of this campus and everything, and that's helped out a lot in my mental space. And so I think it's something that I'm going to continue on doing while I am president. Hopefully, that's so weird to say, sorry. But yeah, and it's a lot of responsibility. So sometimes I can get like overwhelmed with my schoolwork as well as just I have a job too, and so it's like schoolwork, job, SGA. I was also on the events committee for Student Spirit Week, and so that was going on at the same time as campaigning. I had Student Spirit Week, I also had to go to classes, and I had to juggle like a social life too. So like last week was incredibly stressful, and I got incredibly overwhelmed and super run down and super worked out, but I have a counseling appointment tomorrow, so I call my mom a lot. And I talk things out with my mom, and I also plan things out. Like I have a calendar that I like write down exactly what I need to get done and when I need to get it done. That way I don't forget about my assignments, because I forgot about lab. One week I have an anatomy lab, and I was like so busy with the housing and stuff that I forgot about my anatomy lab. And so that increased my stress level. But I definitely have to like plan stuff out, and then spending time in the Word as well, like kind of like meditation, I guess. I view praying to the Lord and spending time in the Word more as a time for meditation too, so that I can focus myself on things outside of what's going on with me and on something bigger. And so it really puts like my struggles into perspective, not to diminish them at all, because my struggles are very real, as are everybody else's, but it very much helps me cope with them in that aspect. Mental Health Day, for me, I take them as often as I can. I am not going to lie. It is very much staying in my pajamas, sleeping in, and then eating good meals, because one of the things that I struggle with is like disordered eating. So I struggle with eating correctly to fuel my body. It's not an eating disorder. I don't have a bad body self-image or anything, but it's more of I just have an unhealthy relationship with food. But that stems back to a chronic illness that I have as well, that has to do with my stomach. So it's a whole big, long, jumbled mess. But a mental health day is like eating good meals, making sure I'm taking care of my body, spending a nice time just
for me, not necessarily seeing other people. Like, I am a big extrovert, but sometimes I need time to recharge and wind down so that I can just focus. I also have this like sticker book. It's weird. It's like a mosaic sticker book that I can like peel stickers and press, so it gives me something to do that's like thoughtless, so that I can just veg, I guess you could say. And also cooking shows and Criminal Minds.
This is gonna sound crazy, but I do my best work when it's under pressure. If I've got a time limit and a boatload of work, it's all gonna get done, and it's all gonna be the best, sometimes the most meaningful work. As a college freshman, college is a lot less stressful for me than high school was, and I think that's due to the fact that I was struggling with a mental health issue and depression, which was depression in high school, and there wasn't a sense of community in high school. I was secluded. I cut off everybody, cut them out of my life. I stopped doing things I loved and quit doing them. And I stuck to my room and myself. Half the time I was home, my parents and family didn't even see me. And in college, they draw you out of your room. They provide that sense of community. Each building on campus, being someone who resides in a freshman dorm, these RAs are there to help you. It's promoted everywhere, but it truly is what they do. And they provide that sense of community through, whether it's events, whether it's just knocking on your door to see how you're doing that day. It's really helped my transition.
I noticed that a lot of my friends have the same mental health issues that I do when it comes to like anxiety and depression. I feel like it's a common factor across like college campuses, especially during this time of our lives. And so a lot of my friends, they're mostly open. I'm open, so we talk about those things openly. We lean on each other when we need to. Me and all of my friends, it's like we're all going through things in our own personal lives. And so I like that they're the type of people who feel open enough to reach out and talk to me about it, because that helps me feel like I can be open and reach out to talk to them when I'm going through my things. And so, for instance, my friend had a lot of exams coming up, and she's like, it's really stressing her out. Like, she can't eat, she can't sleep. And so I'm like, okay, so let me help you time manage. Let me help you. Okay, so you set this time for this and that time for that. And so I think that when you can be a source of relief for people, or be a source of comfort for people when they're going through things mentally, I feel like that says a lot about you, and it makes me feel good knowing that I can help them through that. Like, if I was stressed about something, yes, I can talk to my friends, but if it's something happening in my personal life, I kind of just handle my own problems. I just step away and I go into seclusion and I handle my own problems by myself. And so I think that that's something that I know I could be better at, but that's my personal method of coping, is isolation and solitude and getting myself together before I'm able to help anybody else.
I try to focus on what I've committed to do and try not to get disappointed in myself. I ask for help from the Heavenly Father to be able to do the things that I need to do, to be able to recognize when a person needs help. And there are many former students that I have who are doing the same thing, who've passed it on. And I occasionally hear from some of them during times like this, and that's replenishing to me to know that they are able to function. And some of them from 30 years ago, some from longer ago than that. But there are normal common sense things like getting enough sleep, eating the right foods, exercising. Exercise is critically important to staying mentally healthy. And I go to a gym at least 3 days a week and work out with a trainer. And that trainer pushes me really hard. And his saying is that he's living the dream. And I don't really necessarily have a saying, but one that I say to people sometimes is to pass it on. If they're thanking me for something, they can't return it to me, but they can return it to somebody else. And that's maybe been a motto, to develop it and pass it on. And so eating correctly, drinking enough water, making sure that I take care of the things that would worry anybody, such as paying bills and meeting deadlines and having positive relationships with family members, helping people like my grandson, who I'm particularly fond of. Those types of things are what I do to stay okay.
Hey guys, I'm Abigail, the secretary, and I would like to thank you all for joining us for these videos. I hope you had an amazing time. If you have any questions or comments about anything, or you just want to talk to someone, or you're interested in our group, you can contact us on our Instagram or our email. Thank you so much. Bye.